Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Stephan Shaw, the unbeaten 18-0 fringe contender, has stepped in to save the main event on January the 14th. He will be facing Efe Ajagba, so Oscar Rivas out due to injury, injured his eye in sparring. So this is good news that the main event is still a very intriguing matchup. I still believe this is a 50-50 sort of fight, as was Rivas Ajagba. Maybe it was slightly in favour of Rivas, but I think this is very well matched. According to BoxRec, Stephan Shaw, number 28 in the world, Efe Ajagba, number 32. And actually that's there or thereabouts. These guys are slightly out of the top 20 on the outside looking in. And Shaw, you've got a guy who's been way under the radar, looking for opportunities, recently signed on a co-promotional arrangement with Top Rank, still also with DeBella Entertainment, and he's looking for an opportunity and he's got it. Efe Ajagba, the big Nigerian, strong puncher, but still raw and rudimentary in part of his game, and that was exposed woefully against Frank Sanchez more than a year ago when he absolutely just played with Ajagba. So you've got him on a rebuild, changing trainers, changing setup, looking to find some magic in a bottle, looking for a way back. And seemingly this fight for both these guys, right time, right place, right opportunity, and the winner will go on to a much bigger and better fight. Maybe there's some truth in the fact that these guys the winner of this could end up facing Jared Anderson in 2023. We'll have to see. I mean, I guess it depends who wins, because Ajagba, he's already been beaten at a fringe world level. If Shaw went in there and absolutely blitzed Ajagba and made him look foolish, like as did happen against Frank Sanchez, it might be a case where they might look to sort of put a bit more time, effort and money into building Shaw into a sellable US heavyweight. Currently 18-0, he is one of the best American heavyweights rolling around right now, but at the same time the depth at the sort of upper end of the heavyweight division in terms of American heavyweights, a little bit thin. So Shaw, he's 6'4", he's got a reach of 81 inches, very impressive, but he's got an opponent in Efe Ajagba who's 6'6", with a reach of, and it has changed over the years, somewhere between 83 and 85 inches. Anyway, there's a couple of inches in height and reach for Efe Ajagba, who does jab well, and he's got a very good right hand. He can turn people's lights out, and I think that will influence the way that Shaw fights in this. But quickly, we'll get to the comment from Bob Arum in the press release that confirmed this rejigged main event. Doesn't actually have any quotes from the fighters themselves. Previously, Ajagba had talked about great opportunity for himself, yada, yada, yada. Shaw had actually been on the undercard. He was going to be the co-feature against Guido Vianello. Vianello now to face Johnny Rice. I'll talk about that in another video, because I think it's also a good fight, and I think Rice gets an opportunity after a couple of good wins over at PBC. But you have Bob Arum saying, Stephan Shaw stepped up and has a tough task against one of the division's biggest punchers in Efe Ajagba. We're pleased that Guido, okay, well, we won't cover that one, but yeah, very brief comment there from Arum. But in terms of the form, in terms of what I expect to happen, well, I think this is a very evenly matched fight. It's going to come down to a good game plan and execution, because I think we saw against Ali Erendemirashian, Efe Ajagba has got a very good engine. He can throw a lot of punches. Doesn't all have to be hard work. He was able to outwork Demirashian in an up close and personal fight, and that win has aged well over time. Demirashian just getting one of the best wins of his career, or the best win I should say, against Adam Kovnarski in 2022. Went in there, wore him down and just dominated. So perhaps Stephan Shaw will need to think about the tactics, because I don't think if you're Stephan Shaw that you want to be sitting on the outside, just waiting for an eventual right hand from Efe Ajagba to land at some point. I think he's going to have to probably work on the inside, and probably quite a bit. Efe Ajagba likes to throw those long levers, the jab and the right hand. He likes to get full leverage, get full extension. You don't want that to happen. As we saw against Frank Sanchez, Efe Ajagba struggles with someone who can box and move. So I think we're going to see some of that, but I think Shaw is going to be mixing it up with some inside work. As we saw against Demirezian, Efe Ajagba is okay on the inside. He will continue to work, but he can't get nearly as much power, and he doesn't really have a sort of fully nuanced inside game to take advantage against some of his opponents, especially when they're shorter. The uppercut, it's a work in development on the inside, but I do think that part of this fight, Shaw's going to have to get to the inside, get work away to the body. But I do think boxing and moving is going to be another part of it. He cannot be a stationary target. For Efe Ajagba, he'll want Shaw to basically be there right in front of him, which I don't think he'll expect to see on fight night, because if he does have Shaw right in front of him, he'll land eventually and he could knock Shaw out. But I do think that this is a well-matched fight. I think Efe Ajagba is going to have to throw a lot of punches, and it could be volume, especially on the inside, as was with the Demirezian fight. That could be key to him picking up rounds, because I don't think Shaw's going to want to just be on the outside taking punches and being battle weary and sort of just moving around the ring and not really engaging, because that won't serve him well at all. He's going to have to, if he decides to box in the outside or the mid-range, he's going to have to utilize head movement. He's going to have to utilize footwork, and that is going to be key against Efe Ajagba, who's tall, stiff, upright, and if you use your footwork and you've got good footwork, you can create angles. And as we saw against Frank Sanchez, ultimately the sort of in and out movement of Frank Sanchez, the angles, it just ended up sort of terrorizing Ajagba. He didn't know what to do ultimately after he got sat on the back of his pants on the canvas. He didn't want to throw. He was nervous about sort of throwing for fear of getting countered. I don't think just doing one or the other in terms of either boxing on the outside or being on the inside is going to be the be-all and end-all. I think there's going to have to be some variety. And I think with a guy in Ajagba who hasn't proven to have a very high ring IQ at this point, he's very instinctual. He'll try to, land that right hand. But apart from that, he can be outthought. He can be worked in terms of the tactics. So I think Shaw's going to have to be on point with that side of things. And for Ajagba, he will have to utilize that jab. He's got the reach advantage. He's going to have to really stick that jab in Shaw's face, deter him from coming in, try to get his respect. He's going to have to deter Shaw from trying to get in and out, and he's going to have to try to catch him with something to really make him think twice. So it's intriguing for all sorts of reasons. And I know sometimes with these sorts of fights, you go, it looks like a 50-50, but then sometimes on fight night, you can kind of go, well, that guy really sort of executed well and dominated based on better tactics and better execution. I mean, is this going to be that sort of fight? Is it going to be like, oh, we should have seen this coming? Because I could see with Shaw, who's just really solid. He's got good all-round fundamentals. He's got okay power. I mean, I could see him maybe hurting Ajagba, maybe not knocking him out. But I do think that he's got the potential, if everything comes off, to do basically what a Frank Sanchez did. But in the same token, Ajagba is a year and a half removed from that fight. He's changed trainers. He'll be wary of some of what Shaw's looking to do. They'll be planning for that too. I think that they'll be better prepared for this fight than they were for the Sanchez fight. Sort of be prepared for anything and actually maybe have a few more answers than Ajagba did the first time. But I like the fight, really do. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.